How do? JENGbA, joint enterprise, not guilty by association. There's the main man. True story this. I'm going to be interviewing a young lady who knows all about JENGbA. Where you going, kid? Charlie, real person. Met him, came on the healthcare, came from Liverpool prison, I think, from the block. He'd been in segregation, playing up. So Charlie was a young lad, cheeky chappy. He was a drug dealer. His locality was like, you know, his area was like a small village type rural area. Him, his best mate and his crew were selling drugs. Quite successfully apparently. Anyway, someone tried to move in on their turf, as is quite the case, and him and his mate decided to get a gun. Not buy a gun. So you can rent guns, you can get a day rate, you can get a week rate, or you can buy them. Anyway, they rented a gun. Now obviously that's serious stuff, that, and I would expect, never having been in that business, but if you borrow a gun off someone, you pay them a rate, then they would expect that gun to come back to them when you said it was going back. So his mate, he loaned the gun to somebody else. Not the most sensible thing to do. It caused a lot of problems. Charlie decided that he weren't happy with that. He'd brought it on top for him, so he arranged to meet his mate, not a similar location to this I believe, in a park. Took his girlfriend and a few of his mates. His mate was a best mate. They had known each other a long time. They were in the business of dealing drugs, but he felt his mate had been let him down. Anyway, he needed to teach his mate a lesson, so he took a knife. The intention was to stab him, just to let him know that, you know, he was out of order rehiring a gun or loaning it out or whatever he did. Anyway, as he went to stab him, his mate turned his back and he ended up stabbing him somewhere in the back as opposed to his stomach. And then his mate got off. Charlie left it at that, never thought no more about it. As it happens, his mate got off over some fields. The stab wound was way more serious than people thought, and he ended up laid in the road, died somewhere, some country road. When they initially found his mate, whoever found him, they thought it was a road traffic accident. They thought he'd been knocked down. So it gets out that his mate's dead. A few days later, Charlie didn't know he'd gone home with his girlfriend, who was present when he stabbed a lab, an older woman with her own child, and they just partied, you know, coke, whatever they were doing. Then it come on top. So as it happens, one of the other lads who were there witnessed it all, went to the police and said, you know, I was present, this guy Charlie stabbed his best mate. We didn't think it was too serious. He got off, never thought no more about it. Okay, so they all get pulled in. The usual thing, they're all getting questioned, they're all making up stories, telling stories. Serious stuff, this. I'm just going to film the boy, for those of you who are fans. Serious stuff. Anyway, when it goes to court, Charlie gets 23 years. And the lad who snitched, grassed him up, if you want to call it that. I'm sure people in the business would call it grassing, snitching. Got 23 years. Yeah, he got the same sentence as Charlie. Yeah, that's joint enterprise. He didn't stab the guy, he was present, didn't say anything till afterwards. He got the same sentence as Charlie. Incidentally, Charlie's girlfriend got 5 years. He hadn't been with her long. She was present. She never said anything at the time. You know, she was upset. Never seen anything like that. didn't want to be a part of it. However, she never said anything. She was arrested and she got a 5-year sentence. That's a mum with her own child getting 5 years for being present when a drug dealer stabs his best mate and then his mate dies. I've met other lads. We had one on the healthcare. When I worked at Strangeways prison, the healthcare is the hospital wing. It's like any other wing, but they have nursing staff, and more often than not, people are on there for mental health problems. We had a lad on there. He had been out with his mate, they'd been in a taxi. They'd not wanted to pay their fare. It had kicked off. His mate had chased the taxi driver, who got out of his car with a knife and stabbed him. The taxi driver died sometime later. The taxi driver weren't well. He got cancer. But yeah, they were tried for that. And the lad we had got tried under joint enterprise. The lady I am interviewing will explain this more clearly than me. But the fact that he'd been there, his mate had chased the taxi driver down, he'd stabbed him, he didn't do the stabbing, but he said nothing. He got the same sentence as his mate. And he started off like everyone else, doing his time, and it got to him. I don't know whether that lad will be out now. If he'd have served his time and behaved, as it were, just got on with his sentence, I think he quite definitely would have been out. However, he completely went off the rails. He lost the plot. It just didn't go good for the lad. He started off being destructive, smashing cells, being assaultative, and he eventually up self-harming. Like I say, he couldn't take it. He need help. People in them situations need help. Now, for me, you know, I try and look at it from my point of view. So I'm out with a mate. Mate gets into a fight, punches someone. He goes down, smashes his head on curb, and he's dead. Yeah. What do you do in that situation? Do you all get off home? Are you worrying about it? Do you come forward? You know, what is the best case scenario? And how would you feel if one of your loved ones, you know, was out with a friend who stabbed someone and killed them, and your loved one received the same sentence? You know, not done the stabbing, guilty by association. Very, very difficult. I'm just going to leave it there, guys. I'm starting to get back in touch with people. I'm going to be doing some interviews. Come here, kid. Come here. Come here. I'm going to be doing some interviews. I just want to thank everyone who supports the channel, everyone who supports me on Patreon, everyone who's bought me a brew, guests past, present and future, and as always, as a community, for being super supportive, particularly of guests. So I'm just going to leave it there, guys. Hope you're managing to get some sun. Hope you're in the best place possible. Thanks for coming, Al City.